everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday Show for June 23rd, 2011. Before we tell you what the show is about, we have an announcement. Our giveaway has come to an end.
It's true, we have some prizes to give away. We appreciate everyone who has been retweeting on the Twitters and the few of you who also got involved in our Facebook page. So we'll give away the small bag first, and that's going fittingly to a gentleman by the name of Tim_wins on Twitter.
Yes.
So we will be contacting you, asking for a mailing address so we can send this to you.
Congratulations, Mr. Tim.
We're in Canada right now, and there's a postal strike on, so we might have to wait a little bit to send it to you, but rest assured we will eventually send this to you.
Yeah, if our government has its way, they'll be back to work any day now.
So Tim wins. You win this. Nice Manfrotto Nano bag.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have the much larger, much nicer bag. And this goes to Dan Gamache.
Yes, we're gonna go with that. We hope we're not pronouncing your last name wrong.
Gamached on Twitter.
Yes.
From Ottawa, convenient enough. Guess where we're based out of.
So if you'd like us to give this to you as opposed to waiting,
we can hook that up.
for sure. So we'll also be sending you a direct message to let you tell us where we can send this lovely Manfrotto Veloce bag.
Congratulations, Dan, on the win.
And now, on to our real show. Kicking it off and off the press, Pottermore has now been announced, and no one's really sure what it quite is yet still.
It's kind of like a social network for Harry Potter with fan fiction mixed with other things, and there's ebooks. I don't know. I didn't get it.
I feel like you're going to go download the ebook, and then you can download the revised ebook by Fan776, which is going to have a lot more scenes that didn't exist in the first one.
And apparently JK is writing some new tidbits, which
Yeah.
I thought she was all like, no, I'm done with Harry, but now she's all, maybe I can milk it a little more.
I think realistically, if you're a large Harry Potter fan, you're the only demographic this applies to.
Which I think there's a lot of people.
For sure.
So hopefully something good for them.
Dumbledore dies.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to the gutters. Dave's talking about a long-awaited Ultimate Spider-Man edition.
Also involving death.
Well, thanks for ruining it for everyone.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, spoiler alert. Something big happens in Ultimate Spider-Man this week, and Dave will tell you all about it.
In tech, we're taking a look at some new Nokia phones.
Yeah!
Because they're still making phones, apparently.
That without Windows 7 on them,
It's true, which surprised everyone.
which makes no sense, but we'll tell you about Nokia's stratagem later on. Then we're going to photography this week, and we have a series, really, of disappointing announcements this
true.
week. Pentax says something dumb. Everyone's just kind of...
Everyone's mad at Apple.
Well, and that's different, because usually everyone's,
Yeah.
So we'll tell you
And
about,
Leica decides to be more pretentious than normal.
which is a statement when it's Leica.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's Behind the Lens this week.
Without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
So, are you ready for some entertainment?
Yeah, why not?
Alright, so first things first, big news, giant news today. We talked about it last week because there was that big countdown timer thingy. Pottermore.com is...
It's finally open.
It's open, sort of.
Yeah.
It's not quite an MMO, it's not quite a social network, it's not quite a store, and it's not quite a wiki. But it is all those. There is a video posted by J.K. Rowling today. Side note, the animations in that video, gorgeous. That she's basically explaining what Pottermore is going to be, and just to me, it sounds like the mother of all fan pages, or the best official web page known to man.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, because part of it kind of screams from when I was reading through a lot of a lot of what people are saying about it. To Sam's point, it seems to be like everything, the ultimate fan page, but it also seems like it's a little bit of
marketing ploy.
Totally,
yes.
It's just I don't know how to feel. Like I wasn't a big Harry Potter fan anyway, but it's kind of like, okay, you can do all that, but there's Wikipedia, there's Wikia, there's all sorts of places where you do this for free, but I guess you want to make a little bit of money on it.
This is free as well, obviously. Except for what also is pretty exciting. There is a place now to get Harry Potter ebooks and audiobooks and order Harry Potter stuff officially.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yay. So basically, just going by the press release and the video, there are MMO and social network aspects of the site, meaning there are little games you play, Sorting Hat, you go through wands, you play little games and stuff. There's fan interaction, so that's a social network
I was
side
going to
of
say
it.
that's a social.
There's also added tidbits written by J.K. Rowling herself. I don't know, how added tidbits.
Yeah, what are you
gonna
gonna
be.
add?
Just tidbitty things saying like, oh, by the way, in the corner of this alley, you'll notice that I described it this way. If you notice the other building, I described it this way.
I described it
It's-
this way.
it
My
was
web
built by the-
designer didn't follow.
It was built by the same architect. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. All right.
Seems almost kind of like what they want to do with,
Yeah.
like what they do with Team Fortress 2.
And there will be fan interaction, but not quite revised fan fiction type things, although that would be hilarious.
It would be, but
It-
I think it would get out of hand very
It would
quickly.
get very out of hand very quickly.
And it would probably stray into areas that no one wants it to go. Well, those people want it to go, but most
All
others
real
don't.
girls.
Yes.
Yeah. So overall, this looks pretty exciting. I'm sort of excited for it. It'd be cool. I'll probably go check it out when it launches officially. Right now, it's going to be in beta, so you can put your name on a list. And then later on this year, I think in a couple of months, they'll be sending out a website with a contest, and the first 1 million people that sign up or something gets into the beta.
Ah, neat.
And after that, they'll be trickling it in and opening it up officially and all that.
That's kind of cool, though.
Probably for the release of the 8th movie. Just saying. Shh. All right.
It's a secret.
And speaking of secret movies,
Hey!
it's a secret.
But it's Pixar. Nothing's a secret.
This is true.
So, Pixar came out and said, we're going to release some more movies. Because they already have
Hey.
Cars 2.
Yep, which is coming out this week.
Yeah, and but then there's this other one that came up. I didn't see the third one. So there's Brave.
Yep, Brave.
Which is
The poster was released for that today, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really cool. It's set in Scotland and all that. There's Monster University, which I think the sequel to Monsters, Inc. Probably.
that would be kind of cool. I'd like to see where they go with that because I loved Monsters
Yeah, it was a
Inc.
great movie.
And I mean, it didn't seem like it would be sequel worthy
No.
or prequel worthy because I could see it becoming a prequel.
Yeah.
But either way,
Something that ties into that universe.
that
would be
universe,
cool.
yeah. But-
So this new secret project is, according to Deadline, apparently it's completely original, so it's
Okay.
not going to be a sequel, you're not going to get your Incredibles 2 or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's set to be released November 27th, 2013. So they're aiming for that holiday time. A traditional dead zone for movies.
I was going to say, so,
Yeah.
but that's generally actually how Pixar really runs.
Yeah.
They don't run during, they most of the time don't run during mainstream, I find.
Yeah.
They kind of go in between because, well, that's when everyone will go see a new movie because there's not been anything, so you're bored and
Exactly.
you're like, oh, it's a Pixar film. And then because it's Pixar, you're caught up in the magic and you love
Yeah.
it right away.
Yeah, it's true, and then you cry at the end, and then, like,
I don't know about that, but it's
No.
still fun.
yep. And things that are still fun, free stuff.
Yes.
Really, actually, sort of, mostly free stuff.
Almost.
So Lego Universe, we talked about it, I think way back in October or November when it first came out. Generally, it was pretty good. They've been releasing regular updates for it recently, which is pretty awesome, so keep that up. But it's going free to play, like, for real free to play, so you don't have to buy a hard copy anymore. You can just download the client to your computer. And like a lot of other free-to-play, well, unlike a lot of free-to-play games, they're not doing microtransactions. They're doing an optional $10 a month membership.
Okay.
As well, they have their Lego magazine subscription, which also grants you extra access, but that's not like crazy game-changing access.
Yeah, it's just
it's
so
just bonus content.
So really, what it is just basically you get to free to play, but
You can play most of the game and
Yeah.
most of the mission, but if you really want to play, pay us $10 a month.
yeah, which I think is okay.
It's cheaper in MMO actually.
Yeah, I think if I were to get hooked into it, it'd be okay, $10 a month, and I get to go further in.
Yeah.
How much further is it? Well, it's $10.
Yeah,
If you don't like it in a month,
Yeah, $10, price of a movie. You get 30 days of unlimited play out
it's
of.
cheaper than a movie.
It is cheaper than a movie, yeah. So you get 30 days of unlimited play for $10. So
Yeah,
not too bad.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
give it a
with your
try.
$10, you get more quests and stuff. You also get a bigger building spot. It's in-
you see there, that's
Yeah, that's
where
cool.
it's gonna grab people.
Yep, and you get to enter competitions and community events, which you wouldn't be able to enter if you're just a regular free-loading schmuck.
Well, I'm a freeloading schmuck.
Me too.
So that's kind of neat, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that go further.
So I will definitely be reinstalling Lego Universe
and I'm actually going to give it a try.
when this comes out in mid-August.
Neat.
Speaking of other free MMOs, City of Heroes is getting rid of their monthly subscriptions, sort of.
Okay, so are they
So-
doing the same thing, or...
Slightly differently. You still have to. The way I read this Kotaku article, they weren't too clear, but it does seem like you will have to buy the game,
Okay.
which I'm cool with, or whatever. Plop down $50, but
Yeah.
it's City of Heroes Freedom, which they're basically lifting the subscription, but they're still like, hey, if you want VIP access and cool stuff and quests and costumes, pay us the monthly fee. But where I think they kind of go wrong is they're doing microtransactions as well.
Okay.
But they might have been doing this since the get-go. I'm not 100% sure. So
But, so they're essentially... I was going to say, they're going to do like Guild Wars was. You paid for the game, but then it was free to play. You know, it was a great big MMO. If you're young, you might not remember, but if you're our age, you
Guild
should.
Wars is still around, actually.
It is.
They release a new thing every like 6 months. That's how they make their money.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I'm kind of cool with this because, I mean, I tried City of Heroes...
City of
oh, God,
Heroes
forever ago.
is the premier superhero MMO.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried it, but then I never got interested. But, I mean, knowing this, maybe I'll give it a go
Yeah.
again because
Even-
maybe it's changed enough.
Exactly. Like, even at $15 a month, you pay the monthly subscription, you don't like it, cost of a movie. Not a big deal.
Pretty much.
That's how I justify my MMO subscriptions. But it's really cool to see like an older MMO getting into this, because I know a lot of people were hesitant of City of Heroes,
Yeah.
just because you have to pay for it, and it's like a 4 to 5-year-old game, so they're trying to throw some more life into this thing. So I'll probably give it a roll again.
I was going to say, may as well.
Hopefully the actual game won't cost too much, but you never know.
Speaking of things that need a little bit of life getting kicked into them, well, there's now official trailers for the Muppet movie.
Yep. So for the last month and a bit, the Muppets movie has been releasing parody trailers, so like a romantic comedy, a Green Lantern, and all that. Just last week, they released a real trailer for it, and I'm not terribly excited for it, but I'm not exactly the target audience for this movie.
It's a Muppet movie,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's not the same without Jim Henson, and it doesn't have that shimmer of the 90s that is Treasure Island, Pirates. But
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah.
I'm personally gonna be keeping my eye on it. More trailers come out. I want to actually. I'm thinking I might go see the movie just because I do like the Muppets.
Yeah.
It was a very good time of my childhood, so I would like to go back and relive that without having to, dig up wherever the hell I left.
Your VHS,
Yeah,
your tattered old VHS copy of Treasure
I
Island.
could even watch it if I wanted to. Oh man. Anyway, but either way,
My
so I want to go
VCR
back.
ate my Planet of the Apes, so I can't watch any apes anymore.
I don't have VCR,
Yeah.
VHS player.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep our eyes out for Muppets. Hopefully those will do some more parody trailers, because I actually really enjoyed those.
Yeah, they were actually kind of funny.
Yeah. So,
But-
last week, Alice Madness Returns came out. You were a huge fan of the first game.
Yep.
Now we're going to talk about the new one.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and keep this short because my Duke Nukem one last week kind of dragged on.
This one's a little bit more positive, we promise.
It is actually quite a lot more positive. If you liked the first game, you'll like this one. It's pretty much just like Wonderland is falling apart again. Okay, I'm there. But now it's like Alice is really she's really abused in this one.
Okay.
Like she's trying to repress her memories of the fire from the first game. She's trying to repress everything that happened. But unfortunately what that's doing is causing more madness, more insanity, and it gets kind of weird. Like we're getting really psychological now with this game. I haven't gotten there yet, and spoiler warning. But there's an enemy, for instance, that is essentially an abused child, and you have to continue that trend to actually beat this enemy.
Huh.
It's really, really, really getting messed up. Even as you get further in, like I just finished the Hatter's Domain.
Yeah.
My one disappointment with that is the boss battle didn't happen.
Oh.
The Dormouse and their March Hare, because the Hatter was experimenting on them in the first game, they kind of broke loose, took over, and they come out in this giant mecha. So you see them; they're in their own chambers, and they're gonna work one of the arms. And you're like, yes, gonna have to fight them. No,
Maybe that's later in the game.
no, they're
No?
dead. They are
Oh.
absolutely dead. Hatter comes out,
That's
and
disappointing.
sticks his cane in their mecha, and it explodes. And then all the domain collapses
That's
around
too
them.
bad, really.
So the whole thing is, Wonderland is literally falling apart
Yeah.
now. No, the first game it was getting corrupted. Now it's falling apart. Alice is actually losing her mind
Yeah.
now. But that's enough for that.
How's the actual gameplay of it?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get to the actual
Yeah.
meat and potatoes of this. The gameplay, they tried to continue on the trend of the first one, which is third-person view,
Yep.
look with your mouse, rotate around the camera, and all that.
The usual stuff.
The usual stuff. The only thing is, though, the camera kind of decides when and where it wants to follow you. There's platforming sections, which are okay, but there's collision zone issues I'm finding. So, I mean, that's like any game. There's going to be an update, I'm sure, that's going to fix that. But there's a problem with collision zones. The other thing, there's certain times you're bouncing, or you're in steam jets, so you're floating and you're trying to move to another platform. The camera decides to point you in the complete opposite direction, which, when you do that, causes her to move in the other direction.
That would be pretty frustrating.
Yes, I was fighting with that in multiple levels. So, EA, stop that. Because that's not Spicy Horse's fault,
No.
actually. They wanted to make it kind of like the first one, where mouse was kind of camera, but still kind of independent.
Some of that problem could be because it was ported to PlayStation.
It
and
was,
Xbox.
exactly. That's the other thing. It's very console-y.
Yeah.
You can tell this is a console
That's
game.
a general complaint for most games, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it
since
is
they
now
are-
because PC
Yeah.
gaming is dying out. And that's unfortunate, but true.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, my other gripe with this whole thing is there's no interesting weapons.
No.
There's, like, the first game, you actually had weapons from Wonderland, or weapons that were made from things in Wonderland. You had the Vorpal Blade, which is a knife. You have that now. You had a Croquet Mallet, which is a flamingo. You got to
Yeah.
beat things with that.
Nice.
Don't have that now.
Oh.
You have what's called the Vorpal Blade, an umbrella to deflect attacks, which are only deflected by enemies that you were focused on. The Hobby Horse, which is like a riding, those horse heads on a stick that you used to ride around as a kid. But you beat things with that, and it's basically your mallet. Your heavy hitter, slow
Yeah.
movement. But very good. Anyway, so you have limited weapons. I think you have
Yeah.
5 weapons. You have to upgrade them.
Boo.
But the upgrade system's kind of freaky. You need to collect teeth.
All right.
That's your currency. So you beat monsters and you grab teeth.
That seems a little bit odd.
Yeah. The other thing, though, and it's kind of odd, I'm going to just finish up on this note. You have a dodge move now, which you will abuse the hell out of because you have to. It's kind of, they try and make it fast paced, so you actually have to dodge a lot, and you basically turn into a cloud of butterflies and move away.
Adorable.
It is. So when I first played it, I'm like, oh, this is a little girl's game. Oh, wait, my head just got cut off. Neat. Oh, I just cut off that thing's head. This is no
All right.
longer that.
So overall, what would you rate this as its own game? And then I'm going to throw another curveball at you. What would you rate this as a sequel? So first
As a
game and
sequel,
then
okay, as its own game,
Yeah.
I will give it. I would say that it's, because I hate this doing this, but I would say it's probably 3.5 bloody knife blades out of
Alright.
5.
Pretty good.
Mostly because of control scheme right now, just little things like that. The story's moving along; it is getting there. As for a sequel, it's not quite the first game, which is, of course, it's a sequel, so it's not quite the first game, but it could use a lot more.
Yeah.
So
It's hard to beat the first game. It kind of came out of nowhere.
It's
so.
just, I'm getting tired of this whole limited weapon upgraded
Yeah.
crap out of it, because you can upgrade one weapon and then you're done.
Yeah.
There's no more fun to it. So, I mean, that's where I hate. But they have balanced that a little bit.
Alright.
But either way. So the game is fun. Definitely, it is a must. I wouldn't say it's a must play, but pick it up, especially if it drops in price.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the first one, most
Pick it
people
up.
I've heard say you pick it up.
Yeah,
so.
pick it up because you will enjoy it. Wonderland's still falling apart and all crazy, and it's still fun. Like, it is a fun game. I'd say
Alright.
play it. Give it a try.
Cool. So moving on quickly to new releases this week. In the theaters, we have Cars 2.
Never saw the first one.
Neither have I. Apparently, this one's pretty good.
Neat.
On DVD and Blu-ray, we've got The Adjustment Bureau
And I'm not part of that.
and Unknown. And for games,
Dungeon Siege 3, which I gave the first one and the second one a go. Actually, I gave the second one a miss. Not my kind of game.
Yeah.
But either way, and then Fear 3, which me and Scott were discussing, looks pretty different. I'm going to see if I can get my hands on
Yeah.
it. Maybe I can find a friend who's got it so I can play it, because I personally don't want to buy it right now.
Yeah.
Just from first impressions. Next one, Shadows of the Damned. No idea what that one's about. But hey,
it's a JRPG.
yeah.
Or at least it looks like one.
Yeah, and then you have Cars 2,
Yep, the video game available for every console known to man.
pretty much.
Yep.
So,
And that's it for Off the Press this week.
Hi everyone, welcome to another week of From the Gutters. This week we're going to be doing a single book. It's going to be called Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 160. This is the death of Ultimate Spider-Man. So, spoilers. If you haven't read Ultimate Spider-Man 160 and you really want to read it and you want to be surprised by what happens, stop watching now. Watch something else. Go wash some dishes or I don't know, something. Send me an email. Tell me how to dress because I don't know how to dress myself. Getting on to the book. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, who I have reviewed a number of times, and illustrated by Mark Bagley. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name properly. It's Bagley. The story basically is the culmination of the whole Death of Spider-Man storyline. And there's been a lot of people wondering, like, is he really going to die? Are they really going to kill Spider-Man off? No. I know it's Ultimate Spider-Man, but they wouldn't kill Spider-Man. They kill Spider-Man. He's dead. And it was such a tearjerker. It was rough. I was at work reading it, actually. Bought my copy right away. Opened up the bag. Came in a bag. Polybagged. Awesome, because I love polybagged comics. And also, we sold out same day. So we had huge numbers on it, and we still sold out. Opened it up, read it, and I was sitting at the end of the counter, and people were coming in because it's New Comic Day. And I'm like, just not crying. It was really hard. Brian Michael Bendis' writing really got me attached to this character. I really enjoyed him. And I was among the people who was like, no, they're not going to kill him. He's dead. It's too bad. What I found interesting about a lot of this was Mark Bagley's work. He started it up. He was the first illustrator, and he drew it for ages. I think 110, 111 issues. And he was putting out, I think, 18 issues a year. And it was astounding. He did a great job. His art is functional, though. It's not, wow, so amazing. It's adequate to the job. But because he's so fast, that was really what made him such a hit for me. The thing is about all of this, there's the new Spider-Man that's going to be coming out. And I don't know if it's going to be Peter Parker or if it's going to be someone else who is also calling himself Spider-Man. So far, no one really knows. I don't really know what else to say about this one. If you haven't been reading Spider-Man and you're looking for a good intro book to comics, I have to highly recommend Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a great intro book. If you don't like the artwork, just hang in there. I mean, the thing about this stuff is that there's so much of it, and it really is a rich storyline. All in all, like from issue 1 to issue 0 technically to issue 160. Very rich storyline, all in all. I'm sad to see this Peter Parker go because I really liked him. And I'm sad to see all the other stuff that's connected to it go as well. So, all in all, sad to see it happen, but what a great book. Issue 160 of Ultimate Spider-Man. I give this comic an A+. It was that good. And the artwork was adequate. The adequate artwork is not enough to take away from the overall score of the book. That's it this week from the gutters. I'll be talking to you next week when hopefully we'll be doing something with another particular person that we know of whose name might be Sam. Have a good week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're starting off with a Japanese pop band who is 7 members strong.
Yeah, AKB48.
Yes.
If that means anything to you. They're pretty popular, apparently.
In Japan.
Not here, I've never heard of them. But in Japan, they're in advertisements and all that kind of thing. And there's this new girl, I
Yeah,
guess.
new girl in the band.
in the band, and she's of particular interest lately because we found out she's not actually a person.
It's true. So the 7th member of the band is not real, and is in fact actually a composite of the other 6 members of the band.
Yeah, so they're basically taking the features from the other members of the band, your eyes, your lips, kind of thing, and very well put them together.
It was something like 150 terabytes worth of computational
Yeah.
information that they put together to create this person.
That's how big she is on a hard drive. Kind of thing.
Which is interesting. And so what they did was they created this character. They put them into the band. I think they made some music videos
I
and
think
stuff.
yeah, and they're definitely advertisements and things like that.
Posters and calendars because
Yeah.
they're really big on all their, endorsements out there. And people fell in love with her because, that's
Because
what
they
happens.
They didn't know she wasn't real at the time.
And then they said, hey,
Yeah.
look, she's not real.
Yeah, which disappointed a lot of hardcore fans because, she had, love followings and things like that.
sure.
Which I guess is how it goes over there, but...
But it's an interesting kind of social experiment to see if you can create someone compelling and realistic enough who isn't actually real
And, I mean,
convince a country to fall in love with her.
If you look at the video, it's hard because you're going into the video knowing that she's not real.
Yeah.
But it looks really convincing.
Well, it's also a good point to show just how far we've come in the
Yeah.
ability to manufacture
Yeah.
things.
And it's not even, because we've had believable textures and things like that, but it's the movements
Yeah.
and the fluidity of it all, it's very believable. So, pretty cool tech.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to see this adapted to robots. Terrifying, but ridiculously impressive.
I'll be interested to see where they can progress with this.
Yeah, well, because I didn't even know. I don't know whose idea this is. Kind of a little sick, but
I mean, I'm thinking things like training videos and stuff like that, where the person is real enough that you don't feel disconnected from it, but because they can be programmed to do everything exactly the way you need it to, they're more effective at their job.
is that a good idea? Now we're putting people out of work. It brings up a lot of interesting points.
It does.
Yeah.
There's social issues on both sides of the
Yeah,
spectrum
for sure. Moving on, Nokia's done okay. So we talked about Nokia a lot lately because they did the whole Windows Phone 7 adoption.
It's true.
Which we thought was a good idea, I think, overall. Then they went out this week and released the N9.
Yes.
Not a Windows Phone 7 phone.
No, it's
No.
running MeeGo, which they
Yes.
put in, which was kind of
like they're-
where Symbian was supposed to be
Well-
in the N8, but not quite there.
Yeah, because so Symbian and MeeGo are actually completely different.
Yes.
Except, so they're basically phasing out of Symbian, phasing into MeeGo. They had transition things going on. But then what happened was they decided to go Windows Phone 7, but they already had the M9 developed.
Yes.
So they really had to release it, but shouldn't have released it. On the hardware side of things, it looks gorgeous.
It's a very pretty phone. Comes in a
nice.
whole bunch of candy bar colors.
In a nice way, though. It's not
True.
tacky or anything. It's just kind of like a nice border around the screen.
No, they're kind of like apple-ish colors. Like
Yeah.
they're a good palette of
Yeah.
choosable colors.
Yeah, nice and thin, Gorilla Glass, really nice screen. It looks like a great phone, and if it was running anything else, it would probably sell.
It's true.
But it's running MeeGo, which has little to no apps, which Nokia is not supporting. Intel still says they're supporting it, but Intel doesn't make smartphones, so who knows about that. But what came out of this was after they announced the N9, the CEO told everyone, okay, I'm going to tell you something really secret.
You have to turn off your phones.
Turn off your phones. Put away your cameras. I'm serious, he said that.
Which no one did.
Which no one did, of course. And then he pulls out something that looks exactly like the N9, more or less.
Yeah, it's pretty much an N9.
Which is good because it's a nice piece of hardware.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh yeah, boom, Windows Phone 7.
Yeah.
So we got a sneak peek at basically what Nokia is going to be putting out for the Windows Phone series, which I'm excited for. I think,
But we're still not slated to see that till next year.
which is way too long.
Because if they've got that device more or less running right now, get it to market.
No, I know. You could have killed the N9 and made more money by putting those people somewhere else because you're not going to sell any units.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
You'll get some hardcore Nokia European
for sure,
followers
for sure,
that'll want the
yeah.
N9.
But
that's
if you
about
had
it.
an N8 maybe and you're
Yeah.
due for an upgrade. But the thing is Windows Phone 7 Mango looks awesome.
It's true.
That puts Windows Phone 7 at the same level as iOS, I think. At least, I feel I could switch and not feel I'm losing any features.
Yeah.
Maybe, iTunes.
It's always hard to compete with the App Store.
Yeah,
because
it
there's
is.
so many options.
But if you look
there.
feature-wise, interface-wise, I think it's really on par. But Nokia is not going to be able to capitalize on that because Mango's coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
Everyone else, like Samsung's going to release something good, I'm sure. They had the HD7.
And we're starting to see Honeycomb roll out to devices.
Yeah, so I mean, Google's going to bring up the game as well.
And iOS 5's coming out in the fall.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about Windows Phone 7.
Yeah.
I think it'll stay that third player,
For sure.
which is fine, but I think it'll do okay. I'm worried about Nokia because, HTC's making Windows Phone 7.
Well, that's the problem, is that there's
Everybody
so much
else is.
happening this fall that if they could at least get the hardware in for this fall, they
Yeah.
could capitalize on all the buzz that's going to be happening
If they
in the
can
fall.
have a phone out when Mango ships,
Yeah.
that would be perfect. Because then you go, you don't have to upgrade. Look, this already has Mango. It's the nicest Windows Phone 7 out there. Pick it up.
Yeah.
Because, HTC's hardware is nice but not super stylish.
But Nokia's always made really solid
Yeah,
handsets.
exactly. Hardware-wise, and, lately, I like the style of their phones.
Yeah.
So I think Nokia needs to get together and really ship something. And, once my iPhone 4 is 2 years old, I might be looking at something different. I don't even think Nokia's going to have anything by then.
Yeah.
So they need to get it together, hopefully. A few small announcements to wrap up. Best Buy decided they'd jump on the whole cloud music thing, which I thought was bizarre.
Because that's the end thing these days.
Best Buy doesn't provide services. I don't get this. But
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
You can buy your stuff in the cloud. Wait, isn't that just online shopping?
Yeah, well, which they already have.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a cloud music service. You can do your upload. You can stream from everywhere. The ups it has on Amazon and Google is that they've got a BlackBerry, Android, and iOS app.
Okay.
Or web app. I'm not 100%
But
sure.
Best
It
Buy
wasn't
doesn't
clear.
have a store of music, does it?
No, you upload.
Oh, so all they're doing is going, here's some servers to put your stuff on.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
$4 a month for the highest package,
That's not bad.
which is pretty reasonable.
It's more than $25 a year, though,
yes,
which is what iCloud's offering.
but iCloud's not streaming.
True.
This is actually streaming.
Yes.
Anywhere, whenever you want, all the time.
It's
kind of thing.
catch-22, though, because with iCloud, although you're not streaming, everything's always up on the net, and you don't have to upload nearly any of it.
Yeah, but what I'm beginning to realize is that iCloud is not at all any of these services.
It's true.
It's not comparable.
Yeah.
Apple may think it is, but they're wrong. Because, I got to wait 6 months to upload all my music, but then I can access it at the touch of a button and start listening to it from anywhere. I don't have to download it one song at a time.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Apple change that, though.
No, but that's what they should have brought now, because they would have killed it out of the gate.
Yeah.
I'm sure when they bring it, it'll take over a lot of it, but they would have killed it out of the gate, and they could have done it, but they didn't.
I think my only thing is I'm not sure how much I'd trust Best Buy servers to last.
I don't know.
Like,
how long is Best Buy going to be interested in being in this service is the
like,
question, right?
It's a company that sells tech products. I
But
mean, so is Amazon, but also Amazon's always been web-based entirely, so they have a large infrastructure.
Amazon's a smarter company, so
Well,
are Best Buy.
true.
But they are. They're launching their own tablet this fall.
And they've been hosting everyone's stuff forever because
S3,
Amazon
like half
has
of the
three
internet's
servers.
on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
The thing about Best Buy is they're starting to try and they offer mobile service in the States.
Yeah.
It's piggybacked on carriers, but you can get like Best Buy mobile in the States, which I don't know why you'd. It makes sense from, I guess, almost for Best Buy, but
Maybe there's really good offers when you buy phones with them or something.
something like that. I don't know. But if you want to check it out, it's beta only right now. I put my name in for an invite, so I'll try it if I get it.
Is it working in Canada?
No idea.
Okay.
And there's one page with almost no information.
Put your stuff on the net and we'll give it to you. Thanks, Best Buy.
It'll work on a web browser. You have to upload it, and it'll work on all the major three platforms for
Okay.
mobile. Except it said there's a star beside the Apple, and it says that the top tier service won't work on the iOS app, which I didn't understand, and it didn't explain. So, I don't know. If it's available, in
maybe you
Canada,
won't be able to
I'll try
stream
it,
on
but-
the top. You won't be able to. You only get to stream on the top tier. The rest are like iCloud, where you just download your files. So maybe the top tier is streaming, and then that's not going to work. With
That's
Apple.
not what it looks like.
Okay.
It looks like everything's streaming, but it limits how much you can stream.
Okay.
Maybe it's, and then you can store offline. Anyway, if we get more details, I'll tell you if it's interesting.
And if we get to try it, we'll let you know.
Yeah, if we get to try it, it'll be the only one that works in Canada.
At the moment.
So I'll try it out. But
So I'm thinking it probably isn't going to work in Canada.
probably not. But Best Buy does only operate really in Canada and the United States. So
It's true.
there may be a shred of hope. But it's there. Everyone's jumping on this now. I don't get it. I would not go with Best Buy personally if I had my choice. No, you know what? I'd go with Amazon if I have to do it.
It's true.
Not Google either. You don't get any more of my information.
So speaking of Apple, They're more patents because that's what they like to do. They patent
Yes.
everything.
So this
That's big in the world today. Is patent.
Well,
this is really good cereal. I'm patenting.
But
it.
the thing is, this has always been big. We're only hearing about it now because it really matters because everyone's interested in tech competition, right?
It's true.
So this patent was filed in 2007. I don't know why we're hearing about it now. I guess it took that long to be granted or something. But basically, Apple applied for this patent that involves controlling an object within a screen. So let's say you're on a website, that's
Yeah.
your screen,
Okay.
and there's a Google Maps box.
Okay.
You can zoom in and out with touch gestures
Yeah.
in just the Google Maps box,
Okay.
and the rest of the screen doesn't change.
Okay.
That's more or less the patent.
So they're patenting not specifically touchscreens, but I almost want to say
that
the
implementation.
software application
Yeah,
of how it
It's not-
accesses an application.
it's not a hardware thing by any means because Apple doesn't make the hardware.
Yeah.
But basically, it's that specific implementation. However, which is leading some people to believe it's a very narrow patent and it's not going to affect anybody. However, the way they phrase it
Actually makes it a really wide patent.
possibly. I don't know. I'm not a patent lawyer, so I don't want to judge either way. But basically, it allows for. It just stipulates that the control is from 1 to n fingers, n being any integer.
Oh, so sweet. When we've developed the 15 fingers, it'll still.
Well, that's just to cover, oh, well, this one's for 6 fingers or whatever, right? So that's where people are going, well, that's just anything that's multi-touch, right? They've got the whole patent, but other people
Android's
are
come out
going,
with a new multi-touch, but you have to add their second hand attachment because that's the only way you can
yeah,
legally use
well,
it.
see, and a dual screen Android phone shipped this week, so there you
Yeah.
go. But I don't know. Some people are going, oh my God, they've patented touchscreens. Calm down. It's probably not that. I don't want to say for sure. I'm not a lawyer, but it really doesn't look like that to me after reading through it. And this is an old patent. But the thing is, 2007 is when all the touchscreen multi-touch things were really coming into being.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they can probably find prior art if they want to. They usually can. The service has been around for a while, things like that. But it's not mobile, so who knows? But this has been all over the web. So don't worry about it. Apple's probably not going to start suing people like Android. They're not going to stop making other multi-touch phones.
For sure.
But it is something to watch because Apple does tend to put a lot of patents in that kind of guide their choices.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of Tech Insight this week.
Hey everybody, welcome Behind the Lens this week. Starting up our roll of disappointing announcements for the week. We're starting about a new Leica camera.
Yeah, so
price has gone up,
a little bit, yeah.
but what have we gained?
Well, there was a conference in Paris, a Leica special presentation in Paris, where they brought out the M9P. Now, the M9's been around for a couple of years now, so everyone was
Due
kind
for
of
a refresh?
Everyone was kind of excited to see what the replacement was going to be. There's been some rumors about an M10 with a higher megapixel count and better low light capability, and so this M9P came out. And in true German fashion, the upgrades consist of the following two things. They have removed the Leica red dot from the front and the M9 branding to make the camera more discreet. Because apparently a lot of photographers would take a piece of electrical tape and cover over the Leica dot to be more discreet. So they just said, you know what, we'll just take it off for you. And instead they've just branded Leica on the top in their little signature script. And then what they did was they took sapphire crystal coated glass, which is what you get on high-end watches. Which I have a watch with sapphire crystal coating, and it's really hard to scratch. So Gorilla Glass being unscratchable, sapphire crystal coating has it beat. Well, they've put that on the back of the LCD screen to ensure you get maximum life out of your LCD screen.
Now, I don't know about you, but I need sapphire crystal coating on all my LCD screens.
Yeah.
Well, I won't buy anything with that.
And what they've done is they've also put an anti-reflective coating on both sides of the glass to help improve the viewing angle of the LCD screen.
Because I take a lot of pictures like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were the two things they changed about the Leica M9P, and it comes in both a black and silver finish for an extra $1,000
Well,
over the regular M9. So that brings it up to a total of $8,000
so if I were you,
without lenses.
I would buy the M9 if you needed a Leica for whatever reason, and invest in a tenth of a penny's worth of electrical tape.
Yeah, and maybe one of those screen protectors that you stick on.
Yeah, or don't be an idiot with your camera.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there.
So kind of disappointing. I really hate this world we live in where it's like, we've removed the dot and added sapphire crystal coating, new camera. What?
More money, please.
They're taking a page right out of Canon's book. We added a swivel screen, buy this.
But at least Canon didn't jack the price like crazy.
Well, but Canon made it $100 more, but it was only $800 to begin with. The camera was $7,000, and now it's $8,000. So comparatively,
Maybe they didn't want to sell them.
I guess.
Something like that.
So some people have rumored that this is such a little update because the M10 is coming, 3 months from now. Who knows? If you're a Leica fan, maybe you're running out to buy it. Maybe not.
I hope not.
However, if you're a Pentax fan, you were probably wondering what the hell they thought when they brought out the Pentax Q. So to explain the scenario behind the Pentax Q, we have a very new popular demographic of cameras, mirrorless cameras, interchangeable lens cameras, depending on what you want to call them. We've reviewed.
Everyone's jumping on board. Panasonic's in there. Sony's got their own.
Yeah, Olympus is doing stuff. That we've reviewed a handful of them. We generally like them. I shoot with one and love it. So Pentax said, you know what? We want to join this interchangeable lens mirrorless camera market, but we want to do it by being the smallest camera ever because. Last week,
We talked about the GF3, right?
which was smaller than the C3,
Yeah.
which was smaller than the GF2, and so the game right now is to make everything smaller. So Pentax has come out with the Pentax Q, which is smaller than the C3, and it also slightly smaller than the GF3, but not by much.
However, they seem to have made some large-scale sacrifices
Yes.
to obtain this size.
Well, see, the problem with mirrorless cameras is that people buy them because they want performance that's greater than a point and shoot, which is achieved by the larger sensors found in Micro Four Thirds or the APS-C size sensor,
Yep.
depending on whether you go Panasonic, Olympus, or Sony. But the bulk is gone because they've gotten rid of that mirror. However, they're still a little bit bigger than a point and shoot because they have that larger sensor. Well, Pentax has gotten around that problem by putting a sensor in that's the smallest currently available in any point and shoot on the market.
So basically what they've done is make a larger point and shoot.
Yes, with
That you can
interchangeable
put lenses on.
So they've taken the problems from both market, the poor image quality of a point and shoot and the larger size of a mirrorless, the two biggest issues of both of them, and built a product based on that.
Yeah.
Which seems like a very bad business plan.
Yeah, a little bit. They announced 5 lenses.
Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 lenses. Now the thing is, this would be okay if they said, you know what, Pentax Q $300. That'd be
they
all right
didn't.
because
Yeah.
you got an interchangeable lens, so there's some functionality there, and you got a lot of manual control, so that's kind of fun. And you're probably getting a similar quality picture of something you would buy for $300 or $400 in a point and shoot. No, the Pentax Q is $800 with the Prime kit lens, which is currently the most expensive mirrorless camera on the market, with the exception of the GH2, which doesn't even count because it's years above everything else.
So really what they've done is make the worst camera for the most money the last.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
So if you're interested in the Pentax Q, please email us and tell us why, because we can't figure it out.
Yeah, and if you've bought one, please don't email us because we don't want to talk to you.
Now, obviously, there hasn't been a lot of pictures out yet. DP Review got a chance to take some pictures. They were going to post them, but then Pentax said, no, don't do that. Because I think they realized people were going to be like, this doesn't look better than my S95, which has a larger sensor and costs, $350. So, when we get some more information about how the image quality looks, maybe it will be good. Maybe it'll be better than we expect.
Maybe they've done something with processing. I don't know.
But until we know, it seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
And finally, this has been all over the internet this week. Apple came out, and on Tuesday, I believe, because they like to do things on Tuesday, they announced Final Cut Pro 10 and made it available.
It's $300 only in the App Store.
Yep. Now, they also announced Motion 5 and Compressor 4, which are additional programs to help with your editing.
Yep.
Motion 5 is a motion graphics program, and Compressor 4 is sort of like an output program that allows you to control all your parameters for outputting and streaming to the web and all that kind of stuff. Now, what's really nice about Final Cut Pro 10 is it's $300, which is an incredibly accessible price point.
Yeah.
Now, if you buy an Apple right now, you get iMovie for free, and we've both said it's one of the best video editors out there on a consumer level.
For sure.
If you're not an Apple person, Adobe Premiere Elements is a good option.
Yeah.
But if you got an Apple, honestly, iMovie is a great option.
No, there's no reason if you're just doing basic stuff to go anywhere else.
So the problem was that you'd either jump up to $1,000 to jump into Adobe Premiere Pro or Avid or something like that, and not a lot of people wanted to go from a $130 program to an $1,000 program.
No, I don't think anybody did really.
Yeah, unless you were professionally editing. So Final Cut Pro 10 is going to be $300, which is $300, which I think is a really great price point. But The problem is that Apple is starting to show they don't really care too much about their Pro market anymore.
I think what this has become is the price point really reflects exactly what the product is.
Yes.
You know, it's that middle of the line for the people who are shooting DSLR video.
It's iMovie Pro.
It should have been iMovie Pro.
It should have been iMovie
and,
Pro.
You know, if you don't want if you don't want to serve that Pro market anymore, which with the release of this, I really don't think they do.
No.
You know, don't call it Final Cut. I've even heard people saying they're having problems like importing Final Cut 7 workflows.
You can't use Final Cut 7. Now, Apple claims it's because they built it from the ground up, and they have. It's an entirely different editor. It's not like old editors. So I understand why you can't bring it in, but they're missing other things, like there's not functionality for going to a second monitor really easily, and you can't do multicam editing, which is a very important thing if you're working on music videos or interviews or things like that. And the color control isn't as good as color was in Final Cut Pro 7. So the thing is, if you are looking to get into more advanced editing than what iMovie or Adobe Premiere Elements is offering you,
it's a perfect step.
It's a fantastic program.
Yes,
Because I've complained before that we used to edit on iMovie, we moved to Premiere Pro, and there was things I could do on iMovie a lot easier because it was drag, drop, and it was done, that I have to spend a lot more time doing in Premiere Pro. I can absolutely do it, but it's a lot more effort for me. And I always said, you know, I wish that I had the precision of Premiere Pro with the ease of use of iMovie, and that's what Final Cut Pro X has really accomplished.
It really, I think, the feature set looks really good for that middle of the road. I don't need all the Pro features. I want a certain number of them, but I also want to make it easy. You know, I mean, it's not iMovie. You know, you can't just jump in and it's simpler, but it is that middle of the road. It should have been iMovie Pro.
It should have been.
I think if they released it as iMovie Pro, you go, look, it's not a Final Cut product.
Yeah.
Which it isn't, really. I don't think. Because Final Cut's always been that top of the top, this is what all the pros use. I mean, studios everywhere used to have Final Cut.
Yeah.
In fact, studios now don't even have Macs anymore. It's getting to the point where they don't want to pay up and the software's not there. So I think we'd like the conversation we had a while ago. They're really vacating that Pro market. But if you're shooting a lot of DSLR video, you're pushing the boundaries of iMovie, this is exactly for you, and it's at a great price point.
I really feel like it's Final Cut Express updated. That it should have been Final Cut Express 10. And then they should have worked a little bit harder on making a Pro version. However, I do feel like they have crammed a whole lot of Pro features into it.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think that unless you're doing very intricate editing, this will probably suit your needs and do it easier than most other programs.
It's a fantastic product. It's a great price point. It's not a professional product.
Yeah.
Is basically the consensus on the internet, and I think what you and I have come to, you know, if that's what you're looking for, it's a great product. I would try that.
Yeah, so if you are looking for a step-up editor, pick up Final Cut Pro 10 or X. It's
no demos, though, so...
Which is kind of annoying.
$300 in, or you don't get to try it.
Yeah, so lots of videos on the internet, though, so you can check those out.
Yeah.
Finally, our last thing this week. You know what's annoying about taking pictures?
When you screw it up?
Well, yeah, and I usually screw it up by missing my focus point.
Which is easy, you know, you can just a little bit off.
Things are happening too fast. My lens isn't performing the way it needs to be.
Then you got to take twice as many shots than anyone shoot.
So this company called Lytro and aims to bring a solution to that problem. Now we've talked about Plenoptics before,
Briefly, yes.
which is a lens that kind of looks like a bug's eyeball and sends light in all different directions to get you different focusing distances. But what this company is doing is actually bringing it into sort of a compact camera in a reasonable size at a reasonable price point, which is kind of cool because what this does is allows you to go out and take a picture and you don't do any focusing. It basically focuses from its closest focus distance to infinity all in one shot, takes that picture, and then when you come home with the included software, you can choose what your focus point is and then save out that image and then go back and choose a different focus point and save out that image.
Which is really cool because you can get actually like 5, 6, 7, 100 different shots that look really different out of the same picture.
Yeah, now what's interesting is it works in a depth of field range. So the lens is designed to be from a depth of field 4 to depth of field 22, and you can do something in there. So the thing is that the way the optics are designed, if you don't do it properly, you end up losing a lot of resolution as you try and change that depth of field. And so that's what they've really been working on doing, and a lot of people are saying that, yeah, they can get pretty good images out of it. Now, what's really interesting is the application for a press or event photographer, because you're running out there and you're trying to get that decisive moment, and one, your camera is not going to be slowed down by focusing because it doesn't have to focus.
Yeah.
So it's click, instantaneously taking that picture. You're not waiting half a second. You're not missing that moment. And then you get home and you figure out what you're going to do. So you can focus on composition and framing and everything like that, and just being there at the right time, and then dealing with focus later.
Now, the only thing is this going to be something that a pro is going to want to use? Maybe not right away.
Well, it was an interesting analogy of this being sort of like the automatic transmission in a car. The automatic transmission in a car works great, but for a car enthusiast, they prefer to drive a manual car. And I think it's going to be like that. I think event photographers or press photographers are going to find a practical application for this.
Yeah.
And then on a consumer level, it's really great because it just means you're more likely to get the shot you want.
Now, but it's going to have to be almost that prosumer level, because my grandma's not going to go home and adjust focus point.
It's true. So I think it has a market, and I think there's two segments of the market: the consumer that doesn't want to worry about it but understands that they have to play with it, and then that press photographer who therefore no longer has to worry about it and can get all the shots they always need.
But ridiculously cool technology either way.
Yeah, so hopefully it's coming to the market soon. When we get more information on this, we'll let you know. You can check out the website in the link to see the photos, because they have a couple of them that you can click around and see that perspective
it's
change,
really cool.
which is kind of neat. So keep a lookout for Lytro. Looks to be some pretty cool technology coming down the road.
And that's it for Behind the Lens this week.
Hey everybody, it's that time of the week where we try to make you laugh with something funny on the internet.
And this week we have something artsy and funny.
Yes, so two guys were on their way back from a drifting competition in the U.S.
Not just two guys, two photographers and videographers.
Yes.
Very important part.
And they were waiting in the Fort Worth, Dallas airport, and unfortunately they had to stay overnight.
Yep.
And armed with a bag full of lenses and a 5D Mark II, which I believe they were using. It doesn't say in the video what they're using, but it's probably a Canon. They decided to make a video of all the things that they did in a relatively empty airport when they were stuck there. So here's a little bit of what the silliness was going on. I don't know about you, but I feel like I want to get left in an airport more frequently.
Well, if I was,
With a camera, of
If
course.
I was stranded in an airport with $10,000 of video gear, I would probably put some good use to that.
I think my favorite part is where he's going on the keyboard and then the guy is doing a handstand on the conveyor belt behind him. Apparently, there's been some legal ramifications, though, that they're getting in trouble for messing around in the airport and then also stealing some beer.
Yeah. Messing
which-
around the airport thing, okay, come on now.
Yeah, but
Stealing
it's
the
all about
beer-
airport security these
Yeah.
days, and if two kids can run around and use the intercom system
Yeah.
and not getting in trouble for it, then what does that mean about all of our airport security?
Oh no.
Yeah, terrorists, I tell you, using that intercom
Terrorists
system.
are winning.
It's true.
That's it. But overall, I really like this video. It's shot really well, obviously. But
It's good. It's good. So good on them for making the best of an otherwise boring time.
yeah.
So that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can follow us on Twitter at @almost_Friday.
And if you want to send us an email, something we forgot to add in the lineup, or you hate what we do or love what we do, you can email us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
If you'd like to tell us why Migo is really the best operating system out there and Nokia is off their rocker for not using it, please send us an email. We'll be happy to casually avoid it. So until next time, make sure that you always look pretty, because you might constantly be in focus.